9 people shot after another violent weekend in Lexington. Tonight, how community members and business owners are reacting to the latest string of shootings.
Plus, we're learning more about the 2 men arrested after an incident at UK hospital. Hear from a family member who says there's more to the story.
And if you like cool, crisp nights in the Commonwealth in mid-September, you've come to the right place. Find out how long this will last straight ahead.
Live from Lexington, our home, your news. This is Fox 56 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Marvin Bartlett.
And I'm Imani Payne. Thanks for joining us on what was a beautiful day here in Lexington as we got a little taste of fall.
Yeah, and we're hoping that pleasant air might stick around for a while. Let's check on that with meteorologist David Aldrich with a first look at the forecast.
Hey, thanks a lot, Marvin and Monty. Are you ready to pick some apples? Well, maybe not, but it's starting to feel like that. Oh, maybe you're going to pick some pumpkins later this fall because it's going to feel like fall in the morning. If you sleep in too late, you might miss the heart of it, but it's going to be cool. We're back in the mid-50s tomorrow morning. Are you ready for a corn maze? I love getting lost in here. Half the fun's trying to figure out how to get out. Some like to have the map, of course. The map helps. 74, Lexington. But what's the high? This is the coolest high in 109 days. You mean you looked that up? I did. You got to go back to May 27th. We had a high of 71, but today it was 74, 73 in Jackson. Another begging the question, how cool is it going to be? How about 48 for Harlan? Is that cool enough for you, Harlan? How about 51 McKee and Somerset? About 54 for Lexington and Mount Sterling. Those are your expected lows in the morning. We have a few passing clouds, especially north of Madison County, but we'll be easing down into the mid-50s. Make sure you save an apple or a pumpkin for me, guys.
All right, David, thank you. Well, Lexington police have their hands full tonight. They're coming off of a weekend that saw 9 people shot in 4 different locations.
3 of those shootings happened within a 2-mile radius of Short Street. That's where Georgia Reed Godfrey spent the day, speaking to residents and business owners following the weekend's violence.
I'm here on Short Street between the Victorian Square parking garage and this parking lot where 2 people were shot over the weekend while hundreds of people roamed the streets of downtown, creating concern for business owners and residents in the area.
Xavier Lindsay, Alice Carter.
Cheryl Birch reads the names of family members she has lost to gun violence.
For one family to have to, as far as go through that, you never heard, you just didn't hear of that much. We've never had that much trauma.
Birch and Roberta Young have lived in the city's East End for most of their lives, recalling a simpler time in Lexington when neighborhoods felt like home.
Even though you have relatives that go to other directions and places and all, I loved it. I like to be in Walmart and see somebody that I know.
Now those same neighborhoods have turned into war zones.
I hear a lot of gunshots in the night. One night it was so bad I had to hit the floor.
28 people have been killed by guns so far this year, and police have responded to close to 100 shootings, statistics creating concerns for residents.
So I have seen the violence. I've seen it. But I be daggone, I'm gonna be scared, not for real.
Those numbers also creating concern for downtown business owners as the violence becomes more prevalent in the city's epicenter.
Because we've had stuff in Limestone that's happened, and we lock the doors. Nobody's allowed out, and we tell everybody to come in, because on there, on Short Street and Limestone, we've heard shootings, and we bring everybody in, lock the door.
Johnny Cox owns 2 businesses in the downtown area, including one in walking distance of Saturday's shooting.
It scares me to death. It really scares me. Because kids get involved.
City officials have invested more money into youth outreach programs and security cameras to help deter crime. But for business owners who are hesitant to keep their doors open and residents struggling to sleep at night, they say there's still much more to be done.
We as the adults have to take responsibility for who we are and help our children. Do we honestly think our children just woke up one day and decided to pack guns?
Most of the victims are expected to recover. However, 2 of them were sent to the hospital in critical condition. In downtown Lexington, Georgia Reed Godfrey, Fox 56 News.
New tonight, we hear from the grandmother of the 2 men arrested at UK hospital Saturday night.
Police say the 2 men were armed in a vehicle, but as Georgia MacArthur reports, their grandmother says there's more to the story.
We saw a influx of victims come into the UK Chandler hospital that had been involved in the shooting off campus.
Victims related to Andre Maxbury, who is also the grandmother of 2 of the 4 men now facing charges.
With that came some crowd control issues. Those crowd control issues were several individuals showed up that caused a disorder, resulting in 4 arrests, 2 by Lexington police and 2 by UK police.
Men at Lexington police say were connected to a shooting on Georgetown Road earlier that night.
My grandsons were not involved in no type of shooting activity. We received a phone call that my nephew had gotten shot. Sion Townsend had gotten shot. So I immediately go to the hospital.
Maxbury pleads their innocence, saying her grandsons, Marquise Tompkins and Roderick Bowditch, went to the hospital just like she did to check on their relative. She says 2 other men, one who is nicknamed Booney, are to blame for starting a fight.
When Roderick saw Booney hit my daughter in the face, he jumped over my daughter and he hit him.
But UK police who responded to the incident have a different outlook.
During that, we were standing by in our enhanced security procedures at our hospital, and we saw a vehicle pull up that had 2 individuals in it with firearms.
The situation is still being investigated, and right now is a case of he says, she says. Maxbury says she wants justice no matter which way it falls.
But I'm going to tell my story, because if my grandkids are out here doing wrong, I'll turn them in as well, because I'm out here fighting for people out here doing wrong. I want justice to be served in the right manner.
That was Georgia MacArthur reporting. Tompkins was out on bond after being arrested earlier this month after shots were fired in the parking lot of Fayette Mall. Now he and Bowditch face new charges of disorderly conduct and first-degree wanton endangerment.
Lexington's candidates for mayor clashed at a forum hosted by the Bluegrass Hospitality Association. The conversation mostly centered around what they would do to build on Lexington's tourism and the local hospitality industry. A part of that includes public safety, and both candidates touched on their plans to reduce crime after a weekend filled with gun violence, as we mentioned, that left 9 people shot. Mayor Linda Gorton says her administration's One Lexington program is producing results after a year in operation by using mentors and mediators to prevent youth violence. Challenger David Kloiber argues a different system known as group violence intervention is more effective.
As mayor, I have a plan. It's something that I have developed with community leaders, with individuals and experts throughout the country. It's a multi-stage plan that will bring programs that will address the root causes of violence and not just their effects. We can't run around trying to stamp out the fires. We have to go to the root.
I have put 6 new officers in the neighborhoods. I have funded to a high degree the tools that police need for their work. And the GVI system, we have called many cities that use it. It is not effective. It is not lowering the homicides in those cities. We've looked at the data, so we're going for homegrown solutions.
The race is nonpartisan. The election will be November 8th.
A big win for Kentucky football down in the swamp led to a police investigation back here in Lexington. Officers investigating multiple cases of property damage and criminal mischief on State Street Saturday night. Video shows a fire in the road and a car being overturned. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them or submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers.
New information tonight on a story we first brought you Friday. Investigators releasing the names of the 3 victims in a shooting in Paintsville. Police say 56-year-old Paula Wells, 56-year-old Richard Mormon, and 36-year-old Myrtle Pack all died. 21-year-old Ronnie Pack of Paintsville is now charged with 3 counts of murder. All of the victims were found at the scene Friday. The suspect was taken into custody that day.
Lexington police investigating after finding 2 bodies this morning. Officers found the first body just after 7 this morning on Redberry Circle. That's where they found a man in an abandoned car. Then about 30 minutes later, officers responded to the Lexington Recycling Center on Thompson Lane where they found another man. Police say the 2 incidents are unrelated. Both remain under investigation.
With the approval of new COVID-19 variant-based boosters, more people will be rolling up their sleeves. After the break, hear from our chief medical correspondent on why he believes it could be an annual occasion.
And later, it's a debate taking Italy by storm. What's the correct way to cook your pasta? We'll weigh in tonight's Talker.
The first 10 minutes of Fox 56 News at 10 were brought to you commercial-free. Sponsored by UK Federal Credit Union.
Kentucky lives in me. It's a place that's so alive, every neighborhood and street. A constant celebration of the way life's meant to be. And it brings us all together where the hills and fences meet. Yeah, I am from Kentucky. It's the place that calls me home. It's the rhythm in our music. There's so much here going on. Where horses can be heroes and we like our spirit strong. There's a melody in you and me, and I wanna sing along. Kentucky is home, yeah, Kentucky our home. Here in the bluegrass, the land that we love. Kentucky is home, said Kentucky our home. There's no better place than Kentucky our home. Hey! There's no better place than Kentucky our home.
This is Fox 56 News with Marvin Bartlett, Imani Payne, and weather with Chris Johnson.
The White House COVID team recently announcing that people may need to get annual COVID boosters similar to your annual flu shot. Our chief medical contributor, Dr. Ryan Stanton, weighing in. He says an annual booster recommendation could be likely this year and over the next few years while health experts monitor how the virus develops. Stanton says while he is still seeing people in the emergency department with COVID, he says it's mostly become an endemic illness, but one that should still be taken seriously, especially as we approach the cold and flu season.
Over the weekend, I admitted two folks to the hospital because of significant symptoms associated with COVID. We're still seeing long COVID-related symptoms in many adults, not just high risk. And really, vaccination isn't all about just protecting yourself. It's about protecting those that you're around as well.
To schedule your booster locally, contact the Lexington Fayette County Health Department at 859-899-5260.
Starting tomorrow, UK students will be able to receive the new variant-based COVID-19 booster. UK retail pharmacies will offer both the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines. The new boosters were recently approved by the CDC and are encouraged for anyone 12 and older. Students who are interested in getting the shot should visit ukvaccine.org to make an appointment.
The Lexington Fayette County Health Department is hosting another monkeypox vaccine clinic Thursday. The clinic will run from 9 to 3 at Central Baptist Church on Wilson Downing Road. You do not need to be a Fayette County resident to receive a vaccine, but you must meet the health department's requirements for the shot. Registration for the clinic is currently open, and more details can be found on our website. That's fox56news.com. Still ahead, we'll go around the world in 56 seconds.
Including President Biden's new pledge to end cancer as we know it.
And today's high was 72 degrees, the normal high 82 degrees. So we're in that cool, crisp weather pattern for now. Question is, how long will that last? The details coming up after the break.
You're watching Fox 56 News. Our home, your news.
Welcome back. We are monitoring a situation in Lexington on West 6th Street near Coolevin Park.
Yeah, as you can see, a very large police presence there. We're not exactly sure what police are responding to, but this is a live look at the scene right now. We've got our crews out there. Again, a large police presence there on West 6th Street. We are working to get details about what exactly is taking place there, and we will bring you updates both on air and online as more information becomes available. But for now, let's send it over to David with weather.
Now, your forecast from Fox 56 News, the weather authority.
Thanks a lot, Imani. Thank you, Marvin. We're talking about temperatures in the mid-50s, low to mid-50s. In fact, we haven't been that cool since the end of June. So this is going to be the coolest air that you're going to taste a little bit tomorrow that you hadn't had in about 2.5 months. It's cool and low humidity. That's the key. Mix of sun and clouds tomorrow. There'll be more clouds north, he says, north of Richmond. There'll be a disturbance up toward Indiana. They'll throw in some extra clouds here and around central Kentucky. But it's a warming trend, a gradual warming trend as we head into the latter part of the week ahead. Temperatures right now, 62 in Frankfort. It's 63 Cynthiana, 54 Paintsville. Believe it or not, Boonesville, you're already at 55 degrees. It's cool. It's pretty crisp. It feels like autumn, even though it's technically still summer. Radar still showing some of that spin around Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's associated with an upper level low that may bring in a few extra clouds during the course of tomorrow, which we'll see on Futurecast. Tuesday, though, sun up at 7:18, goes to bed tomorrow at 7:49 accordingly. And we should be around 70 at lunchtime, like room temperature at lunchtime. 72 at 2, and should finish the day around 76. Again, another unusually cool day. Normal high tomorrow is 81, so we're still going to be about 5 degrees below average. If you're planning on tailgating this Saturday, why not? Just know that it's going to be cool. 60s and 70s in the morning, maybe some hot dogs and burgers on the grill, and some cornhole in your future. If that's the case, it is a noon start at Kroger Field. The Penguins. Did he say Penguins? Yeah, Penguins. They're coming to town. Youngstown State. That's what they are. And they're taking on the Wildcats. Halftime should be around 83, but finishing the game around 87. So it will feel gradually warmer heading into the weekend and even into early next week. Futurecast shows through 11:30 to about 3 or 4 in the morning. More cloudiness trying to move down into Lexington, Fayette County. That may slow the cooling process here. But I still think you've got a chance to get in the upper 40s in Hazard County, or even toward Harlan, I should say. Between Hazard and Harlan, it should be very cool tomorrow. Then a couple of extra clouds at noon, swing in, and then a big blob of clouds. I'm not expecting rain, although this shows a little bit of what we call virga, the evaporating moisture that tries to come in. But we'll find it generally highs in the mid-70s tomorrow. Then this big blue H moves into town, and we've got sunshiny skies for a good part of the week ahead. So that's where we'll see a difference on Wednesday. But tonight, 54, Fayette County low, mostly clear, cool with low humidity winds 5 to 10. Low temperatures 52. Danville 48 for Harlan. You're probably pretty close to that, if not around 50, 52 around Hazard. Pikeville 52, 51 in McKee first thing tomorrow morning. Mid-70s at best, 76 for Lexington, 73 for Moorhead and Mount Sterling. As we transition into Tuesday, look 76, a fall preview as we look at your Fox 56 Weather Authority forecast for the next 3 days. 76, oops, did I pass by that? Didn't mean to do that. Let me go through the 7 day. Here we go. The 7 days, sunny on Thursday, 83. Friday, sunny at 85. And then I got a chance to push this around 88 next Monday. So summer heat will come back. So enjoy the little taste of fall, the fall preview, by tomorrow morning. Let's get back to you.
All right, thank you, David. The president pledges to end cancer, and Queen Elizabeth travels to Scotland.
Those stories and more as we go around the world in 56. President Biden says his administration has a goal of ending cancer as we know it. Biden made his remarks on the 60th anniversary of President Kennedy's famous moonshot speech. Kennedy pledged to have an American on the moon before the decade ended. In the same spirit, Biden wants to see cancer death rates cut by at least half, highlighting new screening technology.
Queen Elizabeth's coffin arrives at St. Giles Cathedral in Scotland for a memorial service. Thousands of people lined the street known as the Royal Mile to pay their respects. The Queen's children, King Charles III, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward, escorted the coffin, which was draped in the royal standard.
One person is dead after a building in Kharkiv is hit by a Russian missile, sparking a fire. The attacks come as Ukrainian forces have retaken the city in recent days from Russian occupation. 2 other people died in a separate strike by Russian forces Sunday night, according to the Ukrainian regional governor.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Mexico to lead the 2nd annual high-level economic dialogue between the United States and Mexico. The Secretary of State was scheduled to meet with Mexico's president at the National Palace before attending the economic dialogue gathering later in the day.
In tonight's talker, the high price of energy has led to heated debate in Italy.
Yeah, it's about the appropriate way to cook pasta. In an effort to save energy, some Italians, who are in the minority, have suggested turning off the flame once the water boils, arguing the pasta will still cook. One chef who's cooked for a number of presidents and first ladies over the years says pasta will still cook without a flame, but it will cook, in his words, really badly. And another cook who is retired says without a flame, pasta will not cook, just get softer.
It's funny that we're talking about this tonight because I burned the pasta I was supposed to have for dinner. I ended up with just a bag of chips, but I say either method is fine as long as we get to eat, right?
Yeah, whatever the majority of Italians say is what I'm going to go with.
Yeah,
they
I
know.
think that's smart,
They know their pasta, right, Mitch?
Yeah, they know it, not me. Don't ask me. But coming up, we're going to talk about Chris Rodriguez's impending return. It is coming, a couple more games to go, but hear what Coach Stoops had to say up next.
Tomorrow, wake up with the Fox 56 Morning News, the only news that stays local from 5 to 9. Now, Fox 56 Sports.
And then to go on the road and feel their energy, feel their presence. They were very loud. That stadium gets rocking, and it was a great atmosphere. But when they got quiet, it was great to hear the Big Blue Nation. And looking forward to getting back home and playing for them.
You know, there was a point on Saturday night I thought I was at Kroger Field. I said it on air, but you know what? They kind of changed Florida into Kroger Field by the fourth quarter at the Swamp on Saturday. Road games for Kentucky have a different feel nowadays. UK getting a boost on the road when Big Blue Nation shows out like they did this past Saturday. Their next road game not until October 1st, but the fans won't be the only shot in the arm for the 9th-ranked Wildcats. All SEC running back Chris Rodriguez will finally make his season debut in Oxford against the Rebels. Now, shortly before Mark Stoops took the podium today for his press conference, the school announced that Rodriguez, who has missed the first 2 games and will miss the next 2 at home, will be available to play on that first Saturday in October. And today, Coach Stoops talked about Rodriguez staying ready so he won't have to get ready come October.
Well, we've been prepared to, handle this situation for weeks now. And so we've been, getting the other guys ready, continuing to progress, and also keep him in shape, get him reps when we can. Like, he's competing on scout team. He goes down there, gets his reps down there. He's willing to do scout team, special teams. He's doing whatever he can to stay in shape, get those movements down with the run game and continue to take reps with the first and second team offense when he can in certain situations. And so he's staying active and getting ready to go, and we'll continue to build with the running backs we have available.
Now, no pasta right now, but Kentucky is cooking something special, up to 9th in the nation right now, the highest ranking since 2007. We'll talk more about Kentucky coming up later in sports, guys.
All right, Mitch, thank you. Some big names are set to take the stage at Rupp Arena to benefit Eastern Kentucky flood victims. After the break, find out who's playing and why this cause is so important to them.
Plus, a darts tournament held by one local mother who's hoping to bring awareness and support to those who've lost loved ones. Hear how it all came together.
Scan the QR code on your screen now and download the Fox 56 News app. Sponsored by Absolute Services. Live from Lexington, our home, your news. This is Fox 56 News at 10:30.
Chris Stapleton, Dwight Yoakam, and Tyler Childers all have something in common beyond music. Eastern Kentucky is their home. This morning, the artist announcing they will play a benefit concert together next month at Rupp Arena.
Danielle Miskell has more on how they plan to help Eastern Kentuckians.
You probably listen to their songs all the time. Now you can join 3 of your favorite country music artists in helping fellow Kentuckians.
It was actually the artist's idea to come together and do something in their hometown. Chris Stapleton has been in Eastern Kentucky already doing a lot of relief work, so they just wanted to do something on a larger scale and obviously involve music.
Partnered with Live Nation and 98.1 The Bull, the collective set the price per ticket at $200.
So it's probably a little more than sometimes folks might pay to see one of these artists in concert, but I think they thought everyone should dig a little deeper.
They really want to be able to cover any cost that's not being donated. 100% of all net proceeds will go to charity, from concessions to our premium Rupp Club experience. Any way you choose to purchase here, you'll be helping out.
The proceeds will be going to a Kentucky Relief Fund that Chris Stapleton and his wife Morgan have set up through the nonprofit organization Bluegrass Community Foundation.
You know, they have experience as philanthropists in Eastern Kentucky, and so and have already done rounds of grant making down there. And so I'm sure it's going to go to a variety of things. It's going to help with first responders. It's going to help individuals and families. It's going to help with the rebuilding and really the long-term efforts.
There's been a lot of strategic and logistical planning behind the scenes. It's taken, you know, our entire staff of over 300 people to make it come to life, and we really hope that people turn out and turn up because it's been a labor of love.
And tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. In Lexington, Danielle Miskell, Fox 56 News.
About 6 weeks after historic floods, survivors who lost their homes are beginning to move into FEMA's temporary housing. We told you about the units when they arrived in eastern Kentucky a couple weeks ago. 5 Kentucky counties, including Breathitt, Floyd, Knott, Letcher, and Perry, have been approved for direct temporary housing assistance. FEMA officials called the milestone a major accomplishment, adding that it still has a long way to go, as more than 200 families are waiting for temporary housing. First responders involved in an extensive rescue effort over the weekend after a car drove over a 300-foot embankment in Mount Vernon. Fire crews say they responded to the scene early Sunday morning on I-75, where they found a car at the bottom of a 300-foot drop. It took the assistance of multiple agencies and an assortment of equipment to free the driver and hoist him to safety. He was taken to a local hospital for treatment. There is no word on his condition.
September is National Suicide Prevention Month. It's an issue impacting people across the country and right here in Kentucky.
Josh Short tells us the story of a local mother on a mission to honor her son's memory and help others.
He was always a child that had a smile on his face, so it was one of these of shock and disbelief that it could actually happen.
When Leilani Griffin's son Caleb Pitts took his own life, there were no warning signs.
He wasn't on drugs. He didn't have a breakup of a girlfriend recently. He didn't lose a job. There was no definite signs there.
The pain is still fresh, but the family is trying to channel it into something positive, organizing a dart tournament over the weekend in Caleb's honor.
This is his uncle's bar, so what a great place to do it at.
Griffin came up with the idea with help from a Facebook support group for parents impacted by suicide. Her fellow members have helped her process the loss. Her goal is to offer support to parents whose kids are still struggling, offering this advice.
Just keep an eye on them. Let them know that they're not alone. Let them know that there's somebody they can talk to.
Josh Short, Fox 56 News.
Money raised through the tournament is being donated to Shelby's Way, a local nonprofit offering support to those impacted by suicide. If you'd like to donate or simply learn more, we have a link to the group's website on fox56news.com.
Earlier today, Governor Andy Beshear presenting $464,000 from the CARES Act to Clark County. The money will be used to renovate the Clark County Community Services building. The building provides families with clothing, food, utilities, and housing assistance. The governor saying the funding is their way of giving back to an organization that spends each day helping others.
This is a vital resource for Kentuckians in need. Every day, you and everybody here who volunteers and works are here. You're helping our Kentuckians in need, the lost, the lonely, and the left behind that we are all called to serve.
The renovations will include an add-on for a drive-through where the community can pick up food and other goods, while also helping to decrease the risk of spreading illnesses like COVID-19.
Mourners begin paying their respects before the coffin of the late Queen Elizabeth II. I'm Malda Rivera in London with details on the tributes to Her Majesty coming up.
On the go? Stream Fox 56 News live on your phone and watch wherever you are.
Queen Elizabeth honored in Scotland today for her life of service. Thousands turning out to pay their respects, along with the Queen's children, including the new king.
Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports tonight from London.
The late Queen Elizabeth II honored today in a service of thanksgiving at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. The Queen's children, including King Charles III, following behind as the Queen's coffin made its journey to the cathedral. Inside, the flag-draped coffin was topped with the Golden Crown of Scotland. Thousands of people lining the route between Holyrood House Palace and the cathedral. The Queen's coffin will remain there until Tuesday, so members of the public can pay their respects.
We've been here for 4 hours. She's been a wonderful queen to this country for all her reign.
Meanwhile, in London, the lines at Buckingham Palace have only gotten longer over the last few days. The Queen's coffin will arrive here on Tuesday, where she is expected to stay overnight. The new king accepting condolences for the late Queen at the Scottish Parliament, pledging to follow in his mother's example, while reflecting on the Queen's great love for Scotland.
The Queen, like so many generations of our family before her, found in the hills of this land and in the hearts of its people a haven and a home.
Afterward, King Charles III joined by his siblings, standing vigil over his mother's coffin. After traveling back to London, the Queen will lie in state at Westminster Hall from Wednesday until her state funeral on Monday. In London, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Stay with us for 5 things to know before you go to bed.
Including tracking gun sales, what credit card companies are doing in hopes of curbing violence.
You're watching Fox 56 News. Our home, your news.
Welcome back. As we mentioned earlier, we are monitoring a situation on West 6th Street in Lexington around 9:30 tonight. Police responded to the 500 block there of West 6th.
Yeah, we know a person has been shot there. They've been taken to the hospital in unknown condition. Police are still continuing to investigate. We know it's still an active scene at this hour. This comes on the heels of a very violent weekend here in Lexington. We know 9 people were shot in 4 different locations over the weekend. This just adding to that violence toll. We don't know exactly what happened leading up to this shooting, but we'll continue to bring you updates as they become available.
Moving on, economic hardship, not enough movies, and genderless fashion.
Here are 5 things to know before you go to bed. A growing number of credit card companies are implementing a new strategy in hopes of preventing gun violence. Visa says it will start categorizing purchases made at gun shops. MasterCard and American Express have made similar commitments. Previous purchases have been labeled as general merchandise. Gun control advocates say the move could help monitor for any suspicious sales activity.
The majority of Americans are experiencing financial hardship because of higher prices. According to a Gallup survey, 56% of respondents say higher prices are causing them financial hardship. That's up from 49% in January. People are responding by buying less, buying only essential items, traveling less, or canceling vacations altogether.
What started off as a blockbuster summer movie season ended flat. From the first Friday in May through Labor Day, research says Hollywood films earned $3.43 billion across North American theaters. That's 21% less than what they grossed for the 2019 summer season, making it the lowest earnings since 2001. The reason for the decline is a shortage of films. Comscore says 22 movies were released this summer compared to the 42 flicks released in summer of 2019.
Now that Britain's Queen Elizabeth II has died, new currency will be produced with the image of King Charles III after a period of mourning. But the old money is still legally usable and will likely be in circulation for years. Other countries with currency featuring the Queen include Canada, Australia, and more. Officials say updates to their currency to feature the new monarch will also be made, but those changes could take longer.
It's Fashion Week in New York, and there are a lot of genderless clothing options on the runways. The theme appears to be breaking barriers. Designers are showcasing unisex looks and outfits that challenge gender norms. There you go. That's 5 things to know before you go to bed.
Now, your forecast from Fox 56 News, the weather authority.
Well, Marvin and Monty, if you have that car wash on your to-do list, it's something you've been hoping to do. Well, you've got probably not just one green light, but you've got probably several, maybe 4 in a row. Maybe we'll keep it going. In fact, it's going to stay dry, so you may maximize your car wash dollar if you take it through one of the automated machines. But if you're doing it yourself, you'll also have some good weather still ahead in the days to follow. But temperatures right now on the Kentucky Mesonet, 57 in Richmond. It's 54 in Boonville. Pretty crisp, I'm sure, there. 58 in Cynthiana, a pair of 5s in Moorhead at 55 degrees. But we still have a little bit of a spin. If you look around Fort Wayne, Indiana, there's an upper level low bringing more showers across the UP of Michigan. All that's going to continue to spin up there, but it may provide us with a few extra clouds during the course of the afternoon tomorrow in spots, especially north of Richmond. Meanwhile, the lawn mowing planner, if you're going to be getting off work between 2 and 6 tomorrow, you may be inclined to cut down some of the tall grass. If you've got tall grass syndrome, tomorrow may be your day. Mix of sun and clouds, 72 at 2, 74 at 6, should top off around 76 degrees tomorrow. In fact, kind of outline that here with your Tuesday planner. 7:18, the sun's up, sun sets at 7:49. Should be around 70 degrees at noontime and 76 to finish out the afternoon. But again, still some persistent clouds tomorrow will be found in some spots. Temperature outlook is very hot headed through the 22nd of September. Now, what is that? Oh, that's the equinox. That's the autumnal equinox. So even when we start autumn, still going to feel like summer. Temperature's going to be very warm across the area, if not in the 80s. It could be well into the 80s, not only here in Lexington, but across the darker red areas from Springfield to Indianapolis. That's the trend from some of the supercomputers going into the 6 to 10 day outlook. Let me show you the futurecast for tonight. You'll notice it's nice and clear for Harlan, Hazard, Jackson, but there's some cloudiness that moves in at 6 a.m., if not before, for Frankfort, possibly even Lexington. So that's the mix of sun and clouds. More clearing to the south, but eventually, even in the midday hours, you may may notice some of these clouds begin to thicken. I don't expect rain. I think some of this is model noise that's showing up as green, but it'll keep the temperatures muted. Muted meaning that we're not going to reach 81 degrees, which is the average high. We should top off around 76 for your high temperature on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we should be making a run toward 80 degrees in the afternoon. 54, your low temperature tonight, mostly clear, cool with low humidity, winds 5 to 10. We move into the lows. How about this? 53 Frankfort, 51 in Somerset. We got Monticello and Hazard in the upper 40s, possibly even Jackson upper 40s tomorrow morning, the way things are trending. 76 for Lexington, 73 for McKees High. 76 Tuesday, fall preview, west wind 5 to 10. And here is your Fox 56 Weather Authority forecast for the next 7 days. 76, 80 to 83, definitely a warming trend. As we go into the 5-day outlook, we're in the mid-80s by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Big game day, of course, Saturday, 87. Should be in the upper 80s by Monday of next week. Big weekend ahead, I should mention, for the Midway Fall Festival. Harrodsburg's got Jazz and Beer Festival both going on this weekend. Let's get over to Mitch.
All right, David, like you said, big game coming up on Saturday at Kroger Field, and there's a big connection for Coach Stoops as well. He sounds off on the game against